Hey friends, so random thought, random video. There's only two things that are guaranteed to happen to us as far as I know. And that is, we're gonna die and our body is gonna decompose back into the earth. Even if you're embalmed, it'll just take a little longer, but those are the two things that are gonna happen, death and decomposition. That's what we do best. But then there's that time in between our birth date and our death date. I've often referred to it as a singular dash. Like you look at somebody's tombstone and there's a dash between the birth date and the death date. So that singular dash, what are we going to do with that time? There's no guarantees except those two, that we're going to die and we're going to decompose. So me personally, I never want to be at a place in my life ever again where I need to depend on spending time in that dash working for a paycheck just so that I can make ends meet. I never ever want to have to do that again. I used to have to depend on that. That was a long time ago. It's 2018 right now, and it's been 13 years since I last had a job. It's been about 8 or 9 years, something like that. I say 9 years maybe, almost 9 years since I last depended on having to go out and get a job and sell my time for a paycheck. So that's one of my life goals, is to never be in a position where I have to spend any part of that dash, that singular dash I'm going to get, having to trade my time for money. I want to spend my time how I want to. I don't want to have my time bound and chained and shackled to the dollar to make ends meet. So how does one escape that? How did I do it? It's been quite a few years now. The answer is residual and passive money. It's the only income type that really matters. And the kind that you get from a job is important to make that transition between having no residual income and passive income to having more than enough residual and passive income to cover all your bills and living expenses and necessity and luxury expenses, so that you can spend your time in that singular dash how you want, instead of having to go to some place and show up for a paycheck. Otherwise you can't make ends meet. So that transition is important. And even job money, even self-employment money, where you're trading your time for money, is important. Most self-employed people, by the way, don't have residual or passive income, so it doesn't even matter that they're self-employed. But as long as somebody is learning about it, like how to get it, what it is, and how to get it, and making that transition, at least in their spare time. I had about 20 minutes a day in my spare time when I was still a slave to the dollar. But that 20 minutes a day was enough once I started learning what to do with that 20 minutes. So that was really the key ingredient, is to be open-minded and a craving to learn something new. And so most people don't want to learn something new, at least when it comes to procuring their freedom in that singular dash between their birth date and their death date. So really it boils down to, gosh, do I want to learn something new that can set me free, or just stay inside of what I think I already know and never grow again as a human being? That's all it is, because everything else just becomes, once you have that mindset of just something to learn, well then it's just something to figure out. I just got to learn something new, and then I'll do it. I'll relentlessly take action on it, even if it's just a few minutes a day at a time. And one of my trainings that I've created since then in all these years is called the 5-minute potty break trainer, because that's the reality for people. There needs to be a transitional period. You can't just wake up one day and go, I want to be free. I know what passive and residual income is now and what it would mean to my freedom, so I'm going to, and then you're going to have it like the next day or overnight. It doesn't work like that. There's a transitional period. My transition took me about 2.5 years of doing it in my spare time, 20 minutes or so a day. That transitional period was everything, and that's where having, job money or something that could buy my time so that I could figure this passive residual thing out and build it up enough to where it's like, okay, I emerge at some future point, which is now history. Back in 2010 is when I emerged at some future point, a free human being where I didn't need a job anymore. And so that's your goal, is to get to that place, to begin that transition with just a brain that says, I want to learn. I'm eager to learn and take relentless action on it, even if it's just a few minutes a day. Because I'm busy, I got a job, I got family, got other adult responsibilities. And so that's the key ingredient, is a willingness and an eagerness and a fire in the belly to learn and take action in whatever few minutes a day or more that you might have in a day. Every day, relentlessly, until you emerge at that future point a free human being, because you've done the upfront work so that you can spend the rest of your life at that point doing what you want with your time in that singular dash state. Before the two guarantees happen: one, you're going to die, and two, you're going to do what you do best, and that is decompose. Worm food. I hope that made sense for you. And for those of you that like the idea of being a free human being inside of health and fitness and a beautiful marriage of health and wealth. Health and wealth, getting married, is a beautiful marriage because the person engaged in that marriage is going to have more options, more freedoms. There's people that have money but no health and they can't enjoy it. There's people that have health but they don't have any money and they can't really... I'd rather have health over money, but that's a poor mindset. Poor is, I got to pick one, either or. It's a lazy mindset. You don't have to solve problems. Rich is yes and yes. I want health and wealth. More options, more freedom. So there's healthy people that have no freedom because their time is shackled to a paycheck, or they can't eat or live, and they'll be homeless without it. So why not say yes and yes and open up the brain to a rich and creative process? Yes and yes forces you to get rich and creative in how you think, to find solutions to your problems and accomplishing goals and dreams and stuff. So say yes and yes to health and wealth, so you got your freedom. And if that turns you on, ask me about what I've been doing for the past, since 2007, with residual and passive income, with the concept of a marriage between health and wealth. My coach, my personal coach, made a beautiful video presentation about it. I'll send it to you, and if it turns you on, we will do it. You'll be well informed after that video. So I'll hear from those of you. Contact me very soon, and I'll send it. It's just a YouTube link, so you can play a YouTube video easily on any platform, any device that I'm aware of. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.